So trading tip of the week. So on Friday we're going to see non-farm payroll. So some of you hopefully know what it is, especially if you've been through my courses. But so what does non-farm payroll mean? Why is it called non-farm payroll? And it's because it doesn't include anything around the farming sector, and that is because farming is seasonal. Also, many farmers and their workers are self-employed. And of course, that would sort of make the data more erratic. Now, the big focus on the unemployment rate each month, and of course, it's at half-century lows of 3.5%. So, for me, whether that sort of stays there or it goes up 0.1 or 0.2%, it's not really a main sort of focus for me, especially when there's over 10 million jobs on offer at the moment. For me, I'm more interested in the jobs open versus the number of unemployed. So that gives you a ratio. It's been as high as sort of 1.92 to 1. So it's been 2 jobs available for every person unemployed at one stage. And then that did dip to about 1.6. But of course, for me, I'm more focused on the inflationary elements. And for me, that's the earnings and the hours worked. So that are things that I much more focus on when the data comes out on Friday for the NFP. Okay, so we're going to move on to technical analysis. Just a reminder of the chart legend. So any sort of black numbers in that right hand axis, they are support resistance levels. For a lot of them, I've carried the black line all the way across the chart because I like to look all the way to, create these support and resistance levels. I like to see what's happened in the past around those levels as well, to whether they're sort of sticky levels, where the market's been attracted to them before. And then brown numbers will be breakout unless they're on the pivots, of course, and then there is a brown colour for the pivot. And then claret numbers, they're going to be where I've either identified visually support and resistance, or there's 2 or 3 tops or bottoms, so double tops, double bottoms, triple tops, triple bottoms, and such like. And I've left the pivot points on the majority of the 30-minute charts as well. So we're looking to start with the Dow. I mean, stocks had a pretty good week last week. So with the Dow, I've got resistance at 35,742 and 34,850. Now, one I bear in mind is this 34,038 number. And the reason for that is because that goes all the way back to April, May's high before the big sell-off, and also where it's tried to break it in August. So although it's gone beyond that, it's got there so far. Can it maintain it, or is the market going to turn around? And of course, the data is going to be the key to that this week. Support I've got at 33,011. Moving on to the 30-minute, I've got resistance at 34,261 and support at 33,959. For the S&P, again, that I've added in that sort of April, May one at 43.02. But as you can see, where the Dow actually sort of has passed that, the S&P hasn't got there yet. And of course, that's sort of, for me, that's a lot of the tech stocks holding it back. So below the 43.02, I've got resistance at 41.17 and 41.06. And then I've got support at 39.71 and 38.67. On the 30-minute, resistance is 4113 and support is 4058. Moving on to the Nasdaq, and again you can see how far away that April May high remains, and again we've got there in August. That's at 13,556, and also I've got resistance at 12293 with support at 11,540 and 11,295. With the Nasdaq, I've got resistance at 12,327 and support at 12,163. And as I mentioned, I've left the pivot points onto these so you can see how the market's reacting to them, and whether they're performing well or not over a few days of last week. My guys use them regularly, as well as I do, because as long as you know how to read them and use them, then they're fine. I mean, if you look at Friday, look how close that support line is for the pivot point, that solid blue line, for most of the morning. And then, of course, it took off from there, and then it started to test the resistance levels later in the afternoon. So moving on to the Russell, the small and mid cap stocks. Again, that resistance level from April, May and August is there. That's at 1952. Below that, I've got resistance at 1926 and support at 1870. As I generally say, it's always worth taking a photo of these, especially the dailies, or a screenshot just as reminders, because we're going to have some possibly good sized moves this week with all the data that's coming out, especially with the central banks and NFP. So that they're worth sort of just bearing in mind. Of course, some of them will get broken probably quite early. But emphasis on the dailies rather than the 30 minutes for that. And the new levels, the fresh levels each day, they sort of come out in the daily newsletter we send out. So perhaps you want to sign up for that if you haven't already. Right, so moving on to the Russell 30-minute, I've got resistance at 1927, support at 1916 and 1897. So the pound against the dollar held up quite well last week, I think, really. So I've got resistance at 126.74, which is also a breakout level, should it get there. Below that, I've got 124.49, supports 123.19 and 120.27. On the 30-minute, I've got resistance at 124.42 and 124.18. I've got support at 124.02, and then I've got support at 123.56. Moving on to the euro, didn't perform so well last week as I mentioned earlier. I've got resistance at 111.72 and 109.65, support at 108.60 and support at 107.58. It just seems to really be struggling to break the 110 against the dollar. And then moving on to the 30-minute, I've got resistance at 109.56, 109.31 and 109.11, with support at 108.68. Now, Bitcoin. So, I guess most crypto traders will be happy to see it back, above 20,000 to start with, but the fact that it's having that positive reaction as well as the other asset classes, it has become almost one of the more stable of asset classes recently. So I've got resistance at 27,355, which is that sort of top breakout level from where that gap is. So I've just started adding that back on again now. There's also a breakout at 25,310 should it get up there, from what I can see. But before that, we've got resistance at 24,475. Support is 22,320 and also 19,660. On the 30-minute, I got resistance 23,285, support at 22,525. As usual, just added in the sort of the Bitcoin Nasdaq. You can see that there's sort of some correlation there. They are tracking each other to a degree. As I say, Bitcoin has probably become just that little bit more stable. The stocks that have been more volatile, but it's a very loose correlation, so just be wary of it. Okay, so then when we move on to gold, again, gold's been strong. It just sort of struggled towards the end of the week, and it pretty much ended the week where it started. So we've got resistance at 1950, support at 1913, and support at 1880. On the 30-minute, resistance is pretty much the same at 1949, with first level of support at 1935. Now for the WTI on the daily, especially on Friday, it had a bit of a sell-off. It struggled on Friday. And it did, during the week, it sort of found some resistance around that 82.60 level, which is where I've got the resistance at the moment. And I've got support at 78.51 and 78.11. On the 30-minute, I've got resistance at 82.64 and 82.51. And support at 78.98, 78.80 and 78.45. And of course, we're coming into a new month, so be ready for the OPEC meeting as well, or the OPEC Plus meeting. Will they make any changes? Probably not at the moment, but you never know with them. So, so it's going to be an interesting week for sure. Okay, so as usual, we finished just discussing a little bit about the services that we provide. Of course, you've got this, and then if you want fresh levels every day, then just sign up for our daily newsletter. It goes straight to your inbox. In there, we provide fresh daily chart levels, fresh pivot points. You're also going to get global news and my views as well. If you would like to improve any areas of your trading, then we offer one-day workshops. For those of you that's quite new to trading, but really sort of want to have a kickstart as such, we do an intensive one-week course that really sort of takes you from zero to hero, giving you that great foundation to move forward. That includes theory as well as practical sessions. And then if you're really serious about becoming a trader, then there's our masterclass in trading financials and commodities, even include a little bit about crypto. That's a 4-week course, but you don't have to do all 4 weeks at once. You can spread them out. So that's the great thing about it. And for the masterclass, we also offer a form of helping you make those payments, breaking them down. And of course, you only pay for the weeks as you're attending them as well. Now, trader mentoring, of course, if you've already got some experience, but you want to get to that next level, I can certainly help you with that. As usual, I mentioned we do consulting to companies to help them to hedge their FX and their sort of exposure to raw materials, commodities and such like. We can create some very flexible but efficient hedging programs. And then, of course, we provide lots of trading educational content. That's to individuals, to exchanges, to brokers. We're constantly bringing out more of that. And this year, hopefully, we're going to do more webinars as well to help you guys. Now, if you want to contact us, then as usual, info@symaxfintech.com. If you've got any trading questions you'd like to aim at me, it's chris.tubby@symax-int.com. And there's, just one more thing I'd like to mention is, if you're looking to get into trading but you haven't got the capital, then that's not a problem, because one of our partners, they offer these trading challenges where, if you qualify, they will provide you with that funded account. So, if you're short of capital, then don't panic. What I would say, still get that education though first, because, it's okay going in for these challenges, but know what you're doing first, because obviously you want to pass, you want to get that funded account. So anyway, have a great week. Good luck with your trading, and be lucky.